I can't believe Apple.
Good evening. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. Let me introduce Mr. BoomerRex, our boomer, of course.
Good evening.
Asshole, our male millennial. And I am RisenLadyHeathen, female millennial. They both eat, sleep, and breathe politics, and I'm just learning. We give you the facts and each of our three unique perspectives from our literal round table. And you had something you wanted to say?
It's two round tables. No, I was just going to say, hey, we were quiet for 10 seconds, but...
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you try to talk over somebody else.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's rude.
No, if I want to talk over you, I will succeed.
Yeah, okay. Let's dig right into our headline.
Oh.
Tell me about John Kelly in disbelief of Trump's support of Putin.
So you remember John Kelly. I mean, you shouldn't. He's disgraced. But he was head of Homeland Security, and then he did a terrible job as White House Chief of Staff and annoyed a Gold Star mother, and anyway, all kinds of stuff. And today, he said, it's just disbelief, right? I mean, Trump saying he's a genius, and he said he's a tyrant, he's a murderer, he attacked an innocent country. Hey, stupid. You enabled the scum of the earth for years. You've discredited yourself, your service, your uniform, and your nation. And you should be quiet. Disbelief.
Right?
What did you expect?
Well, it's not like he wasn't licking Putin's boots when he was in office. He was.
Exactly.
Every chance he got.
And John Kelly was licking his, So anyway. This is disgusting. John Kelly, you are disgraced. Walk away.
You were everything I expect from the modern American officer corps.
Which is incredibly sad to say.
Yeah.
No, it bothers me that anyone would bother to quote John Kelly on any subject.
Yeah.
At least your son died and didn't have to see all this.
Oh, God, yeah.
Ouch.
No,
Could you imagine?
The fact that he didn't tackle his president away from the phone when he wanted to get into a fight with a woman whose son was dead. The fuck are you talking about?
As I said,
she gets to say whatever she wants.
Any fucking Spec 4 who worked for me could handle that conversation.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
All right, so this is a good lead into explain to us why Trump praises Putin.
And it turns out you look at the people that Trump praises, right? He praises Putin, he praises President Xi, he praises President Erdogan, he praises Kim Jong-un.
And shithead in the Philippines, too.
Well, that's right.
Jing Jong-pei or something like that.
Kim Jong-un.
No, I was talking about the Chinese president.
Xi.
I thought it was Xi.
I have no idea how to pronounce that.
I've
anyway.
heard both, so I don't know who's correct.
Xi Jinping?
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Anyway. No, he's in love with strong men.
Yes.
He's totally transactional. His interpretation of what you're worth is, can you do it and get away with it? And if you can, you're a strong man like him. And if you can't, hey, fucktard, you lost the election. So, anyway.
No, he didn't. Nuh-uh. Fake news.
Anyway. No, this is, how can you look at that list of people and not understand who Donald Trump is?
And who he wants to be.
He's a mouth-breathing, drooling authoritarian.
Well, and the worst part is, for all you Republicans that voted for him, even though you didn't like him, I hope you're happy. Really do. I hope this is exactly what you wanted. Because if it's not, then I hope
we're both fucking
you
terrified.
sit down on your bed every night and cry. Because fuck you.
Anyway, this is just, one more of Russia's fifth column here in the United States. Is Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson and Bannon and...
at least with... Bannon's I can understand too. But with Trump, I can understand it's due to the right... high-end real estate he was selling.
Oh,
So,
no,
he at least was doing transactions with them.
yeah.
The rest were just pushing it because they're Christian nationalists.
Right, and they like strongmen.
Yes.
They like dictators. That's the vision they have for America.
If one could get it done here, I'd be fucking down too. Democracy doesn't seem to be doing much.
Democrats, balls in your court.
Incapable of taking any effective action.
Yeah.
FEC decided not to go after Trump for the $2 million in soft money he used for political purposes. A long party line vote.
No, the ball's been in
Wasn't
the,
that from a veterans organization
Yep.
of some sort? Yeah.
the ball's
Well,
been
remember,
the
they're the true
Democratic
patriots.
It's
court.
always good. Yes, they're the true patriots, boy. They really stand behind veterans.
You could
Except
tell
for the
that when they were
$2.8
assaulting
million.
so many of them on January 6th.
Yeah.
Since, surprise, a large number of the Capitol Police have
Are.
served their rich uncle previously.
Yeah.
No, I fucking...
Anyway,
That shit makes sense.
so as long as we're talking about Russia's fifth column, counter-corruption advisor to Congress came out with a list of U.S. lobbyists who are serving Putin.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at that list and I think about it and I say, this is negotiating with, trading with the enemy, right? Why have they not been interned?
Yeah.
So,
Or interred.
interned will do. We still have the camp. We can drag them back out there and put up some tents. So,
No, it's one of those things that in 1960 there were 64 registered foreign agents in the United States. There are now more than 10,000.
Yeah.
This was a bullshit form of lobbying always.
yep.
And, God. Oh, well.
Yeah, anyway, so there's a nice list there. Congress, if they show up at your doorstep, see if you can break their face with the door.
Right?
More importantly, grassroots, keep an eye out to see who's going to talk to Democrats.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Ted Cruz was talking about how bad big business is. He's the fucking poster child for corporate donations.
He's literally married to J.P. Morgan.
Oh, my God. And again,
Well-
this is, he's preaching to the gullibillies.
Yes.
He's got his little flag pin. He's got his little suit. He's got his talking about bad corporations at CPAC. Guys, if you think for a second that Ted Cruz is going to back you against the corporations when they're trying to take away your retirement, your Social Security, your Medicare, what?
When you were burning your wood furniture to stay warm, he and his family ran away to Cancun.
Mega dittos, asshole, my man.
No,
Oh, come on. I've been waiting to say that for 10 minutes.
I get you.
Okay. Anyway.
Painkillers aren't my thing. No,
It's Cancun Cruise.
yeah. No,
So just hold herd. What can
Rick
I say?
Scott managed to trick Craythorne off sides because Rick Scott put out his crazy plan, and not to be outdone, Stupid came along with his. So, bye, Social Security. Hello, working old people.
Looks like North Carolina, the folks who are doing the reapportionment there are looking to get rid of fucktard. So we'll see. Because he certainly is a liability.
I also noticed that the redistricting removed the grounds of the people who were suing to have him blocked under the 14th. They're no longer his constituents. So, oops. I'd
Yep.
move.
Well, hey. He's very upset about that because those were the folks who elected him. So
True, but now that case doesn't go forward, we don't get to find the thing out.
true.
I was glad to see the judge strike down the nonsense about it being, right, an artifact of the Civil War. And no, it was, if you encourage people to not acknowledge the United States government, you probably can't be part of the United States government.
Yeah, I love it. So anyhow.
All right, let's move on to GOTP, hate church getting evicted.
Oh, you gotta love it. So there's an extreme anti-LGBTQ church which is getting evicted from its building after a judge agreed with the landlord that the church is violating the terms of its lease. And they have 5 days to vacate the building and pay $42,000 in attorney's fees.
Nice.
Now this is a wonderful church, right? This is a church that's made headlines from, let's see what kind of things they were saying. Routine anti-gay slurs, yeah. Calling for death for LGBTQ people. Let's see, here's a quote. And you know, it's great when trucks accidentally goes through those, that parade, that killing that 75-year-old gay guy. And I think, like only one person died. So hopefully, we can like hope for more in the future.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great guy. You say, well, that's mean. Yeah, the Bible says they're only worthy of death.
Not what the Bible says.
That's
sure.
not what the
Are
Bible
you sad
says
when
at all.
fags die? No, I think it's great. I hope they all die. I would love it if every fag would die right now. So,
Oh, you know what I would love?
This is a-
I would
this is a
love
real
if every
Christian.
member of that church would drop dead tomorrow. That would be
There you go.
amazing. So, we all have different
Anyway, they're
opinions,
getting
and maybe
evicted.
you should keep yours to your fucking self.
they're getting evicted. And
Tell it
after
walking.
the stay from a higher court,
Yep.
they may get evicted with a bulldozer. They certainly would if it were my facility.
Fuck yeah.
So. Oh.
Well, especially with all that money he's going to get, for his lawyer. Because I assume that's what that is to cover his lawyer.
No, it's to cover the landlord's lawyer.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine.
The guy who's going to be bulldozing it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anyway, and we've got a good about damn time.
Hell yeah.
So, again, it's say their name, right? So, Tao Tao, J. Alexander Kuhn.
Well, we don't
and
care to
Thomas
pronounce his
Lane.
name. He's a
Yeah,
piece of shit.
yeah. Were found guilty of violating George Floyd's civil rights by a federal jury in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Oh, and it was beautiful because their stories, like all three of their stories, were all over the place. Like they couldn't they couldn't work out a similar story if fucking anything hit them on the head. And I get everybody's perspective is different.
Well-
You're gonna get different stories, but they were so wildly different that it was ridiculous.
That's what I don't understand. How did you not get your stories straight that day?
Yeah.
Like, that's why you guys write the reports together.
They were found guilty of depriving Floyd of his civil rights by showing deliberate indifference to his medical needs.
Yeah.
And two of them were convicted on an additional charge of failing to intervene to stop Chauvin.
Hell yeah.
Way to fucking go.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, it's good news for them because it means they're going to serve their sentences in a federal prison rather than in a state prison.
So much better.
Yeah. So, anyway,
Enjoy your slightly better cage, shitheads.
Yeah.
they could be sentenced up to, actually, they can be sentenced to the death penalty.
Yeah,
Depending
we're
on
not
the
that lucky.
circumstances of the crime.
We're not
A
that
man
lucky.
died.
I want to see a judge go crazy and go for it.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. As awesome as that would be, and as happy as that would make my
How
heart.
weird would it be for the people doing the execution to like actually be killing some guilty people?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
Unbelievable.
weird feeling,
Like,
knowing these people
unquestioningly
literally
guilty.
did this, without any sort of whatevers. Yeah, fuck.
And
Anyway.
so, which brings us to dumbass of
Yep.
the day, right? And you got to admit, Texas Attorney General saying transition care for minors is child abuse.
Yep.
Yeah, right. So, but that's his opinion, and he's interpreting a state law. Any gender-affirming medical care to minors is considered child abuse under state law. Medical care such as puberty blocking, hormone therapy, gender-affirming surgeries must be halted. Once again, it's time for every major company in America to leave Texas.
Yep.
If you want decent people as your employees, then you've got to leave. You cannot stay there with this kind of shit happening.
No, this.
And
this,
if you do, I remind you that silence gives a scent.
Yep.
Yeah. No, this is disgusting in ways that like the other night. There's just no fucking words for how wrong and inappropriate and bad and the harm. I mean, what is it? Like LGBTQ community has a 80% more chance or 60% more chance to try to kill themselves because of the fucking world in which they live in today and how shitty people are to them. This is some bullshit.
Yeah,
If you have a transgender kid, get the fuck out of Texas.
yeah.
Fuck them. There's plenty of places that are more than willing
And
to
tell the
work with
company
you.
you work for why you're leaving.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
In your
the sooner the
resignation,
better, the
explain.
more the better.
This is
It's
fucking
time.
dumb.
No, Texas wants to be a 4th century Never mind.
No, it's
No, behold
not.
the future. This is the
Disgusting.
This
part-
is the
this
American
policy
Taliban.
plank or policies of the Republican Party.
Yep. This is where
They're
are
going to
taking
raise
America.
taxes and shove people back in the closet. Because that's what's wrong with America.
Yeah.
Poor people don't pay enough taxes. Too many gays.
Absolutely.
That's shit insane.
So anyway, we had dual winners tonight. The other, of course, was Madison Cawthorn, Republican, North Carolina, and his new contract on America.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to jump on your thing then.
No, that's fine. We had a good time. And his plan to destroy Social Security as a way of, quote, incentivizing the elderly to return to work.
You lazy bitches.
Right.
Bunch of
And so they're
entitled boomers.
gonna have lots of budget cuts, and they're gonna have tax cuts, and they're gonna do away with income tax and replace it with, like a flat tax or a consumption tax.
Yep.
Right? Hey, if you're working folks and you hear flat tax or consumption tax,
I'm coming right at you.
they're
Give them
coming
the
right
finger
at you.
and don't fucking vote
You
for
thought
these
you were
assholes.
going to get a tax cut. How amusing. You know they laugh at you behind your back at CPAC, right? Jesus Christ. How can you be this stupid?
Desperation.
No, this is.
Yeah, no, your
Nah.
answer is right. And when I go off the
I
deep
know.
end, you need to come
Hey, you
drag
reel
me
my
back
ass
to the
back
shallow
into it.
end of the pool, and I'll get my head above water, and I will remember that empathy,
Yep.
yeah.
I
No, it's
used to have
hard
that.
when it's this
No,
fucked
I don't
up.
give a fuck.
I felt that desperation once.
Yeah.
For 4 months when I had $400,000 in the bank, but it was going down,
Yeah.
right? And I was terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't missing any meals. And I had a home,
Yep.
a house over my head. And I had a family.
Yep.
And all these things that so many people don't have. I wasn't living in my car and hoping to God they didn't tow it while I was at work.
Yep.
With my living in my car with my family.
No, if the Republicans are smart, they'd be promising to fix things for the millennials. Because they're about to fall off the edge, and they really won't care.
Yeah. No, once again, guys, here is the mantra that will get you fucking elected. I hope the Democrats listen better than the assholes, but make America work for all Americans. That's how you get elected. And if you can't find a way to do that, and if you're not willing as part of your policies to pursue that goal, which means an increase in the minimum wage, it means better access to better health care. It means
access to health care.
yeah, it means that maybe that poor kid who shot folks, right, would have gotten some mental health when
Yep.
he asked his father if he could go to the doctor, and his father said no, either because he was busy or it would be expensive or both.
Yep.
But the point is that we could have intervened.
Yep.
And we didn't because there is no safety net. It doesn't exist.
No.
And if you
and we
think for a
explained
second,
why.
yeah,
We broke down what happened with our mental health system and why it is the way it is today and why it's not working for
well,
anybody.
and it's all just a reflection of the tax system that decided the rich were too worthy to be taxed. And so we'll put all the taxes on the working folks and let the rich escape their taxes, and then just let the
maybe they'll
country
innovate.
and all the infrastructure and everything else just go to hell in a handcart, because working folks aren't worthy of having a decent income and having access to decent health care and so on.
Yep.
That is the position of the Republican Party. And if you think for a second that it's not, you have been duped.
I just wish the Democrats didn't do such a good job showing that it's not their interest either.
No, I'm goddamn.
Hillary being dumb enough to babble about deplorables.
Good old
When,
Wall
sure,
Street
yeah,
Barbie.
there's some people right. There were some Nazis in that party, but
All right, so what the fuck?
I mean, just in general, or
No, this is
This is
a.
a think piece.
Yeah.
I this
Yeah, you heard
really
it.
makes me nervous when Marjorie Taylor Greene says something that I have to think about beyond going, oh, moron bitch spoke again. So anyway, her solution was an immediate retreat to violence, which is what she is. It's what her party stands for.
I will point out the most vicious and violent
She's a maggot.
threats and statements being made when we're forcing the integration of schools were coming out of white middle class women.
Well, but they were also convincing us back in the day that you could catch STDs from black people and all
Right.
kinds of other crazy, stupid.
All the same
Any
thing.
lie that'll
All
stick.
this that they just retreaded what the Nazis said about the Jews.
Yep.
Yeah, but
It was-
people didn't know
and
any better.
again,
That's what they
it
were
was
being
because the
told, and
people
it's
who
not
were
okay.
It was because the people who were saying it were Nazis.
Yep.
Well, and it was also because the people who were listening to it didn't fucking do their. I mean, I think it was harder to do research back then, but they didn't fucking look up that shit and see where it was coming from. This is an age-old playbook, which we've seen over and over and over again about the what about the children, and that's some bullshit. Whenever somebody says to you, "What about the children?" your hackles should immediately be up, and you should say, "What do you
What
mean
nonsense are you
about
trying
the
to
children?"
tell me this
Because honestly, every time somebody says, "What about the children?" I promise you it's going to be followed by some racist or some biased or some other sort of bullshit, which is not real, has no, factual basis at all, and
Absolutely.
is complete bullshit. All of it.
Okay, so again, Marjorie Taylor Greene's solution was instantaneous violence, as hers always is. Or maybe she could get the Jewish space lasers to do something about it. But a group of parents at Weaver Elementary School in Los Alamitos, California, are upset to discover what the sleeping arrangements were for a school-organized science camp.
Yeah, this kind of had me on the fence at first, but I don't know. This is an interesting.
I think there are a
discussion.
couple of things here that make it, interesting to talk about, right? So what we're talking about is fifth grade girls, and that some of those counselors that they were, sleeping in the same room as, are genetically male, right? They use they, them pronouns.
Pronouns. Got science. on the
Anyway, they
brain.
spent 3 nights sleeping in cabins with the girls.
Now, okay.
What the park says is that the camp staffers are placed, quote, in cabins they identify with.
Now, here's my thing. I would have been totally cool with the concept of, let the parents know that these particular these particular cabins or whatever have a adult who is, a transition to male, so trans female, I should say, a trans female who is taking all the supplements and doing all the things and trying to be female. And sure, I would be okay if you told parents this is what's going to happen, whatever, and I'd be fine with my kid going to that. My concern is the they, them pronouns. I don't think you can be biologically male or female and say, well, I use they, them pronouns, which doesn't make me male or female, so I'm going to go into the opposite sex, whatever, just because that's what I feel like right at this moment. Because that's what the they, them thing is.
I don't know enough about this human in particular to know either way. I
There's
do
four
agree
of them.
it was a fucking idiotic move by the camp. Right, this was courting disaster all along.
Yep. Well, again, it's their in cabins they identify with, and that's in accordance with California law.
Totally down for that.
Okay.
No, I have
But I
other
think
questions.
I have a problem. I'm sorry. Fifth grade girls know what's going on,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
But I think that probably is too young. If we were talking about college seniors,
no,
the whole thing would be.
teenagers. Teenagers. We're talking high
I'm sorry.
schoolers.
If we were talking about high school seniors, I would be saying, this is fine.
Yeah.
Right. I got no problems with this at all. And if you're uncomfortable with the people that you're roomed with,
Then
go to the other
you get
room.
a different cabin.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
No, but my issue is the they them pronouns, because those are not
I'm
aren't
reluctant-
people transitioning. Those aren't people who feel that they are female or feel that they are male. These are people who have decided on, I don't know, whatever whim they feel that day, that maybe I feel more feminine today,
We're
or
talking
maybe I
about
feel
one
more.
in particular, and you might want to keep it to that.
No. This is a general. This is what I understand of the they them pronoun thing, is that they dress and accordingly to how they feel in the moment.
Yeah, they seem an odd offshoot of the Two Spirit Kids, but I don't know. I have no idea whether or not these ones are going back and forth. It does that's not the relevant part to me, right? I've got questions along the lines of how many counselors are in a cabin? That's already a mistake if it's not 2.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Right?
I am
Having them stay in the
reluctant.
cabins is fucking weird to me, but
I am reluctant to try to divide people up. You know,
Now, my thing is,
if somebody wants to explain all of the nuances of LGBTQ to
Right.
me, I would love to have you do that.
oh gosh, no, I would love to have somebody
But I'm
who.
very reluctant to try to create these new partitions about, well, they're only using they, them, so they're not really transitioning and this and that and the other.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the really simple one. They can go in the cabins they identify with. That's California law.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
Yep.
But I think the issue here is 5th grade girls and that the parents didn't know.
That's where
No, the
I'm
parents
really
not
focusing.
knowing is my real
That is
issue.
catastrophically stupid.
Yeah, no, that is not okay.
And
You
I
would
think it
handle,
would be
like-
as simple as
Yeah.
having part of your paperwork for the camp be a checkbox for the parents to initial, right? One line of which says that we quarter our campers in the cabins they identify with.
And are you okay with your kid being possibly put in a cabin with a adult that may be biologically different than them?
Yeah. And I would give them that explanation.
Yeah.
Again, if these were high school seniors, nothing. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I like your idea of 2 counselors.
Yeah.
And,
No,
if you-
I think-
and I'm sorry, if you can't do 2 counselors, you've got a problem, because I will tell you that, summer camps and so forth have been for decades a USDA good source of victims for pedophiles.
No, and I can tell
I was
you
a victim at a summer camp
Every
that I went
every
to.
Girl Scout camp
Right.
I went to, every whatever camp I went to when I lived in New Hampshire, we always had 2, and they were always of our,
Yeah, mine had
identity
2
or whatever.
too.
Yeah.
And again, it was very minor, but
No, and
It
again,
was
I have no
enough to
problem
changed
if,
their job titles.
if we were talking teenagers with somebody using they them pronouns who is biologically male, right?
Yeah.
But my bigger concern is that I don't necessarily understand the intricacies of these particular people with their feelings for their they them pronouns.
I don't think you have any right to understand those intricacies.
I feel like
think you
if they
have
were
a right
watching
to
my
assign
child,
them.
I feel like if they are watching my child, if I was sending my little girl to this camp, that I would feel like maybe I would want to know. And then I could make an informed decision on how comfortable I felt with them being in charge of my daughter. End of discussion. I don't think, and again, you can say and you can believe and you can say you would send your daughter there and not have any problems with it, and that's great. But I'm saying that not all parents feel that way. And
should have been
I,
addressed earlier.
That's fine. And I
my
think
only issue is the they, them, and the lack of knowing how these particular people felt about it.
and I don't
That's
think
it.
you have a right to inquire. I think your rights are limited to an understanding that campers and staffers will be quartered in
I
cabins.
disagree when we're talking my child. Now, it's not
In the
my
ca-
child, so yes, I have
Yes,
no right.
the
But
limit of your right to knowledge or decision is that when you are told, I'm going to quarter my staffers and my campers in the cabins they identify with, the only thing you have left is my child will or will not go. You cannot ask the next question.
I don't think that's fair.
Huh?
I don't think that's fair at all. I don't feel like my kids should miss out because they might get put in a cabin. I think I should be able to say, I would rather my daughter be with a biological female. That would just be more comfortable for me. Or a transitioning female, an actively transitioning female. I'd be fine with that too.
I think we don't care about the
pronouns that makes
sexuality
me weird.
of the other people who we have made snap judgments about.
Oh, and I'm not saying these are bad people. And I'm not
And I don't
saying
think
they
we
were
get to
whatever.
ask.
I'm saying we make a lot of assumptions based on the other. For me, this was all dumb at a corporate level, and the rest is irrelevant largely.
Yeah.
Because again, my problems with anybody talking to these kids about anything, I have bigger problems with just don't talk to the fucking kids, man. There's no way this comes up in a normal ass conversation.
Yeah. Well, it might in the showers.
Well, and my thing is,
but no
is
one
if
was
they-
showering together,
I
and the
know.
Well,
rest
and
is
that's
just.
my thing, is if they're leaving the cabin while the girls are changing and stuff, that's fine.
And this is Marjorie Taylor Greene hanging out with Alex Jones, saying outrageous shit because she's
Oh,
amongst
sure.
crazy
No, but
friends.
the
Oh, the thing
basis
is true.
with-
Yes, they fucked this up. Right? This camp fucked it up, not via the counselors and where they were sleeping, but simply not having addressed that fact. Because
Exactly.
at some point this was going to come up. If someone who didn't like the gender complex community heard about this camp, this was tailor set for them to fuck you up. Right? The people who do the crazy lawsuits about my kid didn't get into Harvard because there's too many Asians or something.
Yeah.
If one of those scumbags had heard about this, there would be accusations.
Oh, absolutely.
And since you're stupid, it sounds, and don't have multiple counselors for rooms, there's no way to prove it didn't happen. And
I see no reason to believe they don't have multiple counselors.
It-
agreed, but it didn't come
Okay.
up. My point, right? If I was involved in this camp's doing of this, and this story's coming out,
Yeah.
that'd be among the first things I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. And the camp is the employer, and as the employer, I think you can legitimately set folks down and say that, this can be a problem, right?
Yeah.
Would you mind being put in a separate cabin with others of, or whatever?
I think having a discussion with parents can decide what they're going to do.
manage this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat reluctant unless we're going to start pulling all of the counselors, which again I'm not sure is a great idea. Man, fuck! You should have just brought this up earlier.
Yeah.
You could have avoided all of this. No, and my bigger annoyance is Marjorie Taylor Greene perpetuating the nonsense that somehow gays and the rest of the LGBTQ community are more likely to molest children when in fact, scientifically,
We know
that's
not
less fucking true.
That's
Yes. Yeah, if
So-
you're looking for a pedophile,
You're worried about who's in the bathroom? Let's talk about the naked straight guy who fell out of the ceiling in Logan Airport
Yeah.
in the women's room.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was up in the ceiling tiles for perfectly not creeper reasons.
yep. So, anyway, you want to go on to updates?
And I want to reiterate
no.
that no one's making any accusations that anything happened.
Right. Absolutely.
So let's
Other than
discuss-
Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's advocating violence, even though nothing.
Yeah, that's
exists
her
for
every
that.
day. Like,
Yeah.
Anyway,
and that's how countries go down to fascism.
Yeah. She's a screechy little thing.
It turns up every day, just a little more.
okay. 2 more assistant principals arrested for not reporting sexual assault.
This I didn't see, so now I'm
One-
curious and shouty.
One told one girl, that maybe it was how, you were dressed, or maybe you were seeking attention, which caused the girl to believe that she would be expelled if she told anyone else.
Just great.
And after the first one happened and was reported,
I think
2
that
more
is the-
occurred after the fact.
I think the one you were talking about was the first one.
I think so.
And there were 6 or 7 months between the first one and the second one, and now the third one. So not only did they fail to meet their legal obligations, I mean, they're charged with felonies and should be found guilty of them, by the way.
Aggressively. This is after the fact. It's just
Yep.
yeah.
So, and again, I think at least a couple of parents said, well, no, all 3 families have an excellent cause of action against the school.
And I'm just gonna explain
I mean, the city.
to you people that once again, we've discussed this before, but it's been a while, and I want to say this again. It doesn't matter how a woman is dressed. A woman can be wearing a t-shirt, a high neck, regular old t-shirt, okay, and a pair of jeans, full length jeans, and still be sexually assaulted, because it has nothing to do with what a person is wearing or how they're acting or how many times they tell you no.
During the Arab
Sexual assaults are about power.
Yep.
Yep.
End of discussion.
Yeah, the rest is just covering up. It's the standard, right, boys will be boys nonsense, which I'm finding all through this article. I don't know if he grew a little crush on her, he started stalking her, and first off, just kill these kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Stalkers are easy to get in the lone area. Don't do crimes, don't kill stalkers, the internet, but,
No,
The only
it's
sexual
disgusting to me
assault-
to be telling a young teenager that she needs to be careful what she wears and how she acts, because that is not appropriate and not okay.
That's what I
Because
found out.
it teaches her that she doesn't have
She's
bodily
responsible
autonomy.
for the
Absolutely.
actions of other people, which is insane.
No, the only sexual assault I was aware of in high school, we handled for ourselves. And I assure you, it did not recur.
Well played.
At least not in our high school.
Fair.
Right? And the guy was still a perfect asshole. Right.
Oh, they always are. I mean, I know that I had this one guy who was just grabbing my ass because he thought it was funny. Because I was the tall, gangly girl with a big butt. I had a ghetto booty. And he was all about just grabbing it for funsies and blah, blah, blah. And I went to my assistant principal and it did not stop. And I reported him 3 or 4 times before my brother finally had to walk by him in the hallway, and he made a comment about me to my brother, and my brother grabbed him by his throat, slammed him up against a locker, said, "You go near my sister again and I will fucking kill you." Went straight to the assistant principal's office, turned himself in and said, "I just did this." My mom said, he had a week off. He was suspended for a week, but you know what? That kid never talked to me, never looked at me, and never touched me again. And I promise you, my brother got to do whatever he wanted for that week. He was being rewarded for protecting his little sister where the school did nothing.
Yeah, well, our little problem was just your standard frat kid. And in fact, really reminds me of one of the Supreme Court justices. But I won't say who. Anyway, but again, it
Give me
didn't,
money, I'll tell you the internet. I'll tell you all the
it
secrets.
didn't
for money.
recur at our high school to the best of our knowledge. So,
All right, so now I want to discuss Russian citizens protesting Putin's action in Ukraine.
oh, cool. Bravo. Way to go.
Good job, Russian citizens. I see you. I hear you. Well played. You have our love and support. You got to stand up for yourselves and what's right.
You
Good
will
job.
be missed.
Oh, that's true.
Enjoy
Hopefully
your
people
trip to
remember
the-
your names.
Enjoy your trip to the gulag. And if we ever learn them, we will say your names.
Yep.
No, for sure. You people are amazing, and I'm sorry that you're going to have to go through whatever you're going to have to go through, but well played.
They were snatching them right off the street, too.
Yeah.
It was,
You were saying up to 1,500?
Yep, that's the number I saw. No, it reminded me when we were using the blacked out Fed troops with no name tags to snatch people.
yeah.
Difference is those people are alive.
Well, they were just released, whatever.
The ones we
but
know
that's-
of are
Yeah.
alive.
But that was a trial run, I feel, and
yeah.
I feel if Trump ever gets in power again, that sort of thing will become more Russian-esque. And
Hey, that's
people will
the
disappear.
Foucault's boomerang, the first bit we're going to see of the global war on terror. Our ability to monitor networks and identify key personnel is unmatched by anyone else.
As you recall, though, we were looking at them and looking at what they were wearing and so forth and going, this is garbage troops. Turns out the vast majority of them,
Vortex. But,
they were prison guards.
yeah.
So,
Of course they were.
just trash.
Ugh.
Floor sweepings.
Yep.
All right, so again, Russian people who are protesting, good job, good on you, and we're really sorry. We'll miss you. And if we ever do learn your names, we do promise we will say them on air so everyone can know the wonderful thing that you tried to do.
Yep.
Did we discuss that the assistant principals had been arrested in that previous story?
They do. Two assistant principals arrested for not reporting sexual assault.
David Yang and Natasha Harris.
Thank you for
Oh,
mentioning
good.
their names.
And there were,
There's video of it.
that
Oh,
goes
good.
with, are you serious?
Uh-huh.
I want to see the video.
That's amazing.
You know the guy that... Oh, sorry.
There were 5 in the
Yeah.
2 days ago or whatever
Yeah.
it was. So, again, arrested,
Yep.
charged with felony.
That was where I was fuzzy.
Cool.
But-
If you've got video, I want to see it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
You know the guy that made the competitive eating takeoff, invented the perp walk, or at least claims to have?
really?
Yeah. Fun
Cute.
thing I learned the other day.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, so let's move on to updates with BoomerRex. What's going on with Omicron?
Okay. So, now that we're getting some real data, stealth Omicron is again growing. And so the question is, if you've had Omicron or are vaccinated, or if you have some reason for immunity, how susceptible are you to stealth Omicron? The short answer is The risk of dying from COVID-19 is 14 times higher for unvaccinated adults than for adults who are fully vaccinated. And it is
Those are some big
51
numbers.
times higher for the unvaccinated relative to those who are vaccinated and boosted.
Wow.
So go
that's a
get
big
your
number.
damn vaccination. And
Get
if you
boosted.
haven't gotten your booster yet, go get your booster. And if you got your booster 6 months ago, you're coming up on, oh my God.
Another, yeah, we're
Yeah,
we're
another
probably getting
shot.
close to another shot too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So tell us about climate weirding.
I'm just pointing out that there are 2 more of those winter storms,
In
right,
Texas,
going
yeah.
through the U.S.
Good luck, Texas.
And again, yeah, exactly. There's,
Do you see
you know,
Abbott
there's
ordered-
all that energy coming up out of the Gulf to join that Arctic Clipper,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
that's
we had
not
some
good.
crazy winds the other day, which I think is going to turn into this storm.
I was surprised about, yes, that was the beginning of the first storm.
Yeah, no, that front was crazy. I was convinced the trailer, not really, I knew the trailer wasn't going to get blown over, but there was certainly a couple of times where we were rocking a bit more than we usually do. I was like,
Shit.
no, we're good. It was crazy.
The Southwest, because of the relatively little water vapor in the atmosphere, can change temperature very quickly. And so you can have real storm fronts that arise. And I remember one in particular where it was forecast, and our local forecaster was just crazy. And he said, no, he said, you go outside at 6 p.m. And he said, between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., this front is going to come through. And he said, there won't be any question in your mind that this front has arrived. So go outside at 6 p.m. The winds went from negligible to 45 miles an hour,
Jesus.
and it dropped 20 degrees
Yep,
in 15 minutes.
I believe it.
It was really neat, but it was a really crisp front, and he knew what he was doing.
Fair.
You see that Abbott had ordered the Texas electric companies to stay at max rates for
I
2 extra
saw
days?
that, yeah, because he didn't want any brownouts. Yeah.
This was to discourage big companies and big users from having it.
Yeah.
Never mind that it jammed up a bunch of little people.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So
When 60%
Boy,
of
I'll tell you
American
what,
households
though.
can't
No, I'll
afford a
tell you-
$400 bill.
I'll tell you
Unexpected
what.
$400 bill.
Boy, that whole Texas system, that whole Texas electrical system, boy, that worked out great for the billionaires and worked out like shit for working folks. And I really have to say, how many lessons do you need before you learn? Right? You've been duped, and you need to find another way. And I will push my party to find another way,
Yeah.
because they don't offer a clear alternative at
Fair.
this point.
No,
Because they ran Wall Street Barbie.
Yeah. No, and I feel like right now it's, you know, I've been watching this for several years, and I keep seeing this happen, right? Like, oh, tax cuts, blah blah blah, and then I'm like, that's all going to the top percent, and everybody's like, yay, tax cuts, and then they're like, wait, I didn't get a tax cut.
And why
Well,
does it take 4 hours
because
for the
you
police
weren't
to get to my
going
place?
to ever get a tax cut, and the trickle
made
down
you think
system
you were gonna
has
get a
never
tax
worked
cut?
from the first time they tried to fucking do it, and you still it's the repetitive banging
one-
their head against this wall, thinking it's gonna help, and it never fucking does,
No.
and still believing it. Why are you still believing it?
Because they employ some of the best liars on the planet.
Yep.
And repetition through an entire ecosystem on talk radio of poorly understood points and badly interpreted headlines.
Yeah. You know, Fox News.
Oh, all of it.
Fox News is millionaires selling the gullible to the billionaires. That's what Fox News does to make a living.
Yep.
So,
All right, so let's move on to Citizens United.
Showing you how they do it.
Brennan Center for Justice, which is brennancenter.org, put out this article back in December of 2019 by Tim Lau. It's called Citizens United Explain. The 2010 Supreme Court decision, further titled Political Influence Toward Wealthy Donors and Corporations.
well, they're the ones who
Wealthy.
donate. That's why they run the country.
So what this whole Citizens United, which comes from Citizens United versus the federal election. Now, Citizens United, as all Republican bullshit things, is inappropriately named. It's not about citizens, it's about corporations.
Yeah, but that's the name of the
it
pack.
should be called Corporations United.
Yeah,
Because
but-
that's what it is. Let's be honest.
Yes, but Frank Luntz isn't
But
dumb.
that doesn't fly.
No, so they have to give it a good name, like Citizens United. Because
Welcome
that
to
sounds
1984.
good. That sounds amazing.
Double
So
speak
let's
school,
go
bro.
with that. And he says, while wealthy donors, corporations, and special interest groups have long had an outsized influence in elections, that has dramatically expanded since the Citizens United decision, with negative repercussions for American democracy and the fight against political corruption. So, what was Citizens United about? Well, he says a conservative nonprofit group called Citizens United challenged campaign finance rules after the FEC stopped it from promoting and airing a film criticizing presidential candidate Hillary Clinton too close to the presidential primaries. With a 5-4 of the Supreme Court sided with Citizens United, ruling that corporations and other outside groups can spend unlimited money in elections. That is what a super PAC is, people.
And you wonder why the working folks keep having their taxes go up? Right.
Because they don't have a pack.
So what is the
Guess
rationale for this ruling? In the court's opinion, Justice Anthony Kennedy wrote that limiting independent political spending from corporations and other groups violates the First Amendment right of free speech. Sorry, corporations aren't people. Fuck you.
Hold on.
The
The other
justices-
thing that's important is, in theory, we all sitting at this table have the same 8th Amendment protection to not cruel and unusual punishment, the same 14th of equal protection under the law. Right, the idea being that all humans have kind of the same amount of right to to bear arms. We don't all have the same. If money is speech, we don't all have the same amount of right to
Correct.
free speech.
Exactly.
That's why that's an insane justification.
Yep.
So this is their reasoning. The justices who voted with the majority assumed, never make an assumption, it makes an ass out of you, not me, assumed that the independent spending cannot be corrupt and that the spending would be transparent. But both assumptions have proven to be incorrect, which means wrong, which means not right, which means fuck off. I'm just saying. With its decision, the Supreme Court overturned elections spending restrictions that dated back more than 100 years. You know, for
Hey.
reasons.
Gotta let the corporations have their boys.
Previously, the court had upheld certain spending restrictions, arguing that the government had a role in preventing corruption. But in Citizens United, a bare majority of the justices held that the independent political spending did not present a substantive threat of corruption, provided it was not coordinated with a candidate's campaign. I would love to see what the bank accounts of these justices looked like before and after this all fucking happened. I am just saying.
And if you're a justice and you're offended by that, let's see your financial statements.
I'm giving you the finger right now. You can't see it, but it's happening. As a result, corporations can now spend unlimited funds on campaign advertising if they are not formally coordinating with a candidate or a political party. Now, we explained to you last night how they do coordinate with these political
For sure.
campaign people and blah,
That's
blah,
the
blah, blah,
whole
blah.
reason they're formed.
Yep. Well,
No,
that's
but
to launder foreign
so
money.
so PACs. So when you have an actual PAC, which we discussed last night, they can only spend give a $5,000 to the person who's running.
Yep.
Now with a super PAC, they can spend as much money as they want on anti-campaigns against the other person, pro-campaigns for their person, and other sorts of things. But they can't talk directly to the person or give them money directly.
Nope. So the number of former
that's-
chiefs of staff that
that's
go on to
how-
run PACs.
But
Yeah.
that's how this was supposed to, that separation
Oh, yeah.
was supposed to protect there from being corruption, which is bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And I'm fucking sick of hearing about how the whole trickle down theory, the whole corporations can watch themselves and make sure that they do their own thing and it's fine. They'll keep track and make sure they're not polluting. They'll make
Nice
sure they're
enough.
not hurting people.
Well, new enough.
They'll
that
make
you
sure
give them the benefit of the doubt.
they'll make sure of all these things, but they never fucking do. Every time they're given the chance, they don't. And the government has to fucking step in. This is the one place that we gave them the chance. They failed, and the government decided, we'll just let it ride because this is just how life works now. Fuck you all. End of discussion.
Make America work for all Americans.
Yep.
So
About
that's what
time.
Citizens United is.
Be nice to see it once.
Yeah. And it changed elections dramatically, as you all know,
Of
and
course.
as we
Likely not
saw
for the
with the
better.
taxes. And dark money. It allowed dark money to make its way
Yeah.
into, elections and such, where you don't know where this money came from or who donated
I think
it
it's
or
bullshit
why.
when we let politicians go to other countries to raise money. So,
Yeah,
yes, I
that's
understand
ridiculous.
supposedly from the expats who live there, and we can move money.
I think it's ridiculous that any of these organizations are legal.
Yeah.
The simple way to do this is the only free speech there is of the candidates and of the electors.
Yep.
And that the electors can give candidates up to $2,500 a year, but you may only give to candidates who will represent you if they are elected.
Yep.
So if you live in New York, you can't give any money to some asshole running in North Carolina. And it's time to go back and recognize that that's what free speech means.
Yep.
But again, if you want to read this, it's BrennanCenter.org, and it's called Citizens United Explained. It's a really good article, and it'll explain to you, pretty much, I read a lot of it, but not, it's got how do we fix this, and explains dark money, and how it
Cool.
hurts everything, and blah, 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 blah. So definitely
Go read it.
Go read
You're
this
going to link it
article.
on our things, right?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because
Because this is a good one.
It is good. So I will post a link on our Facebook, and I will also put it in our YouTube explanation. for
Okay,
this.
excellent.
But I will not be back tomorrow personally.
Uh-oh.
Well, I won't be here in person. I'll be here on phone. So if you can't hear me
Okay.
well, that would be why.
So you're traveling tomorrow?
I am traveling
Oh my
in the
God.
morning. So I'll be on a plane to go see my family. So I will be coming to you from sunny Florida tomorrow, while these two are stuck here in, I don't know what kind of
getting
weather
stuck
you
in
guys are
Fort Worth, sure as shit.
Yeah, I better not. I will fucking murder people.
Fort Worth sucks.
If I get stuck in Texas, there will.
Not the people. The people are good. Your airport's just fucking lame.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
we
and
have snow
Texas
on
is
the
fun.
ground
Texas
in the
people are
shade.
cool.
I know.
Yeah, it's been. Yeah.
It tricked me. I thought it was snowing again.
No.
Anyway, so hopefully I make it to Florida safely. All of you cross your fingers for me. Not 2, but at least 3. You have to have an odd number. Apparently, that's a thing. I don't know. Anyway, we love you all. And anybody else have anything to add before we sign off and remind you all to like, comment, subscribe, heart, follow, review?
Well, hopefully while you're in Florida, it won't be raining alligators.
Oh, Jesus fuck.
Good night, the internet.
And we will be back here tomorrow on Boomer Rex.
She talks a lot for someone who's not going to be in the room.
And no.